fresh start this unit, you gotta get caught up on factoring, or else you're gonna struggle this whole unit, okay? I'm always available after school. Huh?
What'd you say? You said something about factoring and how we're gonna be struggling?
I said you're gonna struggle this unit if you can't factor. So those that were present or who were absent last unit or had a hard time and are trying to fresh start this unit just need to get better at factoring.
So when we factor, so for like
Good.
C, for example, we just factor out like the 6k squared and the 7k, right?
No.
Bruh.
We're gonna talk about it, okay? All right. So on this first one, I saw most of you factored and you got k plus 2 and k plus 7. So that means that k, you should have gotten -2 and -7, which is what I saw on most people's papers. Those that didn't get it, what questions do you have? Hooray. Okay, now.
Can I write my answers like
No, because eventually we will be graphing, and so you have to make sure you can tell the difference between like a k equals and a coordinate point. That's a good question. All right, guys, listen, quiet, please. So the reason that what makes this so easy is because I can just take the parentheses one at a time and solve them, right? Well, that only works because of the zero product property, which means that only works if one side equals 0. You guys with me? So let's look at C, okay? If I look at C, does one side equal 0? No. So that's a problem, okay? Because what I'm doing only works if one side equals 0. So what could I do to this -2 to make it 0? +2. Good, Tyson, +2. And if I do it to one side, I have to do it to the other side, right? Why, Zach?
Because it's math.
Why?
I don't know exactly, but you just do it.
Because I have to keep my equation balanced, right, Jalen?
So now would you have a C to that?
Good job. That's our C because they're not like terms.
Oh, that's just me like actually.
Yeah, good. Because look, these add to 0, right? And me adding that 2 over, it can't combine with anything, so that is our C. Okay, there's 2 things that throughout the last couple units, I've tried to like hammer in your brains to always do first. What are they?
Great combined factor.
Good.
Good combined.
And standard form. Good. So now we have another one that's even more important than the GCF and standard form. Where you have to do before you can do anything in the problem. You make one side equal 0. Those are your tips. So GCF and standard form, good. I'm getting that drilled in your brain. But now we have another one that's even more important you have to do before anything. One side has to equal 0 or none of this will work. Okay? You guys with me? So on part F, what would our first step be?
Part F, what is? Oh,
You gotta
add the
make
5
the
to
one
that
side
side.
Add 5. Good. So the first thing I would do on part F would be to add 5.
Do we add 5 to the -6 or do we like just add 5 to like the equation?
Good question. The reason why on C we just added the 2 in the equation is because it didn't have any numbers to combine with. But on this one, we are going, oh, careful, it's going to be -1. But we do have to combine them together because they're like terms. Good question.
Oh, we were adding. Oh, might be.
All good. It's all good, bro.
We doing okay?
Yeah. Looks definitely.
And then we find greatest common factor. And
If
now-
there is one, and then we check standard form. And then if none of those things happen, now let's go back to C. We're going to finish the problem off. You can cross off D. I'm not going to make you do it just so you have more room to work, okay? So now I'm ready to factor. So 2 numbers that add to 7 but multiply to 12.
Done. 4 and 3.
Good job. 4 and 3.
Oh my gosh. Bro, there's no girls in this class.
believe that's the point.
Today, no, it's not.
Thoughts are just too manly.
We're too spicy.
Most of us
Huh?
So,
No?
touch.
you guys, I know these problems take a while, but 80% of the work for each problem is last unit, right? You guys with me? Good. So so then now how do I find my two answers for K?
Now you gotta subtract the 2 from 3K.
Good, subtract the 2. So 3K equals negative, and then divide by 3. Good, so my first one is negative 2/3.
The other one is -1.
Good job. The other one is negative 1/2.
Hey, you are so smart. Great. Why did you just try and...
It's cold.
You guys doing okay? Okay, so go back to the top of this page. The big idea behind solving by factoring is if it equals 0, then after you factor, set each parenthesis equal to 0, one at a time. Before you begin solving, one side must equal 0 and the equation must be in standard form.
It's fun to watch.
Okay, before we do the last thing for today, I want you, and I'll walk around, you can cross off H for time. And just so you have room to write, but I want you to finish up part F, and I'll walk around and check answers and see if you guys have questions.